The White House says Russian airstrikes against militants in Syria are indiscriminate and threaten to draw Russia more deeply into the crisis. Spokesman Josh Earnest said Russia was carrying out random airstrikes against the Syrian opposition. Earlier, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Russia was targeting the same IS groups as the U.S.-led coalition. He rejected suggestions that Moscow was trying to bolster the Syrian military. Russia said that it is targeting Islamic State and other militant groups, but the Syrian opposition and others have suggested rebel factions opposed to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, the Kremlin's ally, are bearing the brunt of the attacks. The Syrian military has lost ground to IS and various other rebel groups in the recent months. Meanwhile, talks in Paris on Friday involving Russian President Vladimir Putin and hosted by his French counterpart François Hollande are expected to be overshadowed by the situation in Syria. Carrying out indiscriminate military operations against the Syrian opposition is dangerous for Russia, said Mr. Earnest in Washington. It is only going to prolong the sectarian conflict inside Syria, if not make that conflict indefinite. And it also risks Russia being drawn even more deeply into that conflict. Mr. Earnest said U.S. and Russian officials had held hour-long talks on Thursday to discuss deconfliction operations, and that this was the first of the series of the discussions. Russia said it carried out its second day of airstrikes on Thursday and hit IS ammunition dumps and command centers. Mr. Lavrov, speaking at the UN in New York, said Russia would fight other terrorist groups including al-Nusra Front and al-Qaeda affiliate. He said that this position was the same as that of the U.S.-led coalition, which has been carrying out airstrikes in Iraq and Syria for the past year. He also stated, "We are not supporting anyone against their own people. We fight terrorism," he said. As far as I understand it, the U.S.-led coalition announced ISIL and other associated groups as the enemy, and the coalition does the same as Russia does. Mr. Lavrov said the targets were selected by the Syrian military. However, he said Russia did not consider the opposition FSA a terrorist group and said it should be part of the political process. Mr. Lavrov also said there were no plans to expand airstrikes in Iraq. Iran, also an ally of President Bashar al-Assad, called the Russian operation a step toward fighting terrorism and toward resolving the current crisis. Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar are alleged supporters of Islamic State. Please like and subscribe and let me know your comments in below. Thank you. Have a good day. God bless you.